It's 1 a.m. I have a flight in 10 hours, but I have to be at the airport in 6 hours. No, I'm leaving to go to the airport in 6 hours. So I thought, why not do a little mini rate and review of my recent reads? I've got 6 books here. 3 of them are from the same author. Let's start from the bottom. First up is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Did I say his last name correctly? I hope so. I can't believe this is my first time reading this. But also the timing is just really divine. This book is so magical. It's a magical book about faith. Faith in yourself and trust. Trust in the universe, God, creator, you know, the things that are bigger than you, that make you you. Honestly, in the beginning, part 1 was kind of a little slow and boring for me, but halfway through the book, especially through just the whole desert experience, that's when things really started picking up and I loved it. This is just a very magical book when it comes to having faith in yourself, believing in yourself and what you are capable of and your dreams and your goals. So, you know, if you are a big dreamer, if you are a very imaginative person, you've got to at least read this once in your life. It's just so magical. I give this 100 out of 10. Next is The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. I rate this 7.5 out of 10. I actually started reading this last year, but I could not get through it because I was just so bored. I thought it would be like a story like this. That was what I was expecting, but it was giving very surface level textbook vibes. So I didn't finish it the first time I picked it up. Well, this recent time that I picked it up, I forced myself to finish it. And you know, I really believe in divine timing because the person who I was when I first picked this up last year versus the person who recently picked it up a month or 2 ago, very different people. So my most recent time reading this, I was able to digest the material better and understand it better. That said, as I mentioned, it is very surface level. I feel like a lot of points are kind of introduced and then that's it, on to the next point. However, there are some pretty good statements and prompts for reflection, for doing shadow work and self-concept. Pretty good in that area, but like I said, very surface level. Yeah, that's all I can say. Surface level just doesn't really do it for me. These next 3 are all by Don Miguel Ruiz. The second one, this middle one, is by Don Miguel Ruiz and his son, Don Jose Ruiz. So I'm going to start with The 4 Agreements. This was actually my second time reading this, and just as magical as the first time. I really enjoyed this book. I love it. It says here, a practical guide to personal freedom, and I think this is a really good guide for personal freedom. And if you're just getting started, it's a very easy read. Look how small this book is compared to my hand. It's about 120 pages, and look at the spacing. You can get through this in a day. If you're trying to build a stronger self-concept or personal freedom, this is a really good starting point. Really good starting point. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm bad at rating books. All I'm saying is good or bad or eh, and then it's like, you gotta read it. But this is just one of those things that, you know, there's a lot of wisdom in here, so it's just like you have to read it to read about the wisdom and gain the wisdom. And I rate this an 11 out of 10. The next one is The 5th Agreement, because after 4 is 5. This one is thicker. This is about like 220 pages. There's a part 1 and a part 2, and I rate this overall an 8 out of 10. Part 1 was kind of hard to get through, honestly. I feel like there was a lot of, I don't want to say jargon, but just a lot of wordy words, you know. And you know, that's the kind of writing style for these, very just wordy words. I did enjoy part one. One of my main takeaways from part one was that the truth is all that exists. Language is not truth. Language is a tool developed by humans to communicate with other humans. So truth, like nothing, is truth except all that exists with no language. You don't have to put language to it. You don't have to put words to things. You don't have to put meanings behind it. So that was one of my takeaways from part one and from this book. I really like it. But yeah, some chapters are very just like wordy, and in the first part they do summarize the 4 agreements, and it just felt very rushed. I just didn't really enjoy those descriptions of the 4 agreements. So if you're gonna read the 4 agreements, I really recommend getting this book, because each agreement is really explored compared to this. It was just like a few pages per agreement. And then part two is also very nice, reading about the 5th agreement and also just the other 3 masteries. That was also really nice. I enjoyed part 2 way more than part 1. I also still recommend reading this book, but not this one. Go through this one first, and then this one, and then this one, The Mastery of Love. I give this a 10 out of 10. Yeah, this is a very nice, really shows that life is a mirror. Your perception of the outer world and how you react to it and just move through it is a direct reflection of your inner world, and this kind of guides you through, you know, making a beautiful inner world and cleansing the indoctrination and going through deprogramming. And it's also kind of like a shadow work. For me, I love shadow work, so I thought this was kind of shadow work, but in a lighter way, a more beautiful way, not like the ugly, gruesome kind of way. All of these books, actually, all of these help you to look inward and build internally so you can have a beautiful life with the physical world. So I really enjoyed this book. If you are, you know, like I said, developing a self-concept, but also self-love, the importance of self-love, because when you love yourself truly and all of the things that make you you, including what's bad, what's ugly, if you can accept and love that, like you can accept and love everybody, and you can see everybody as just a human being. You don't judge them because you just see them as a human being having human experiences. So really beautiful book. But yeah, if you're gonna read these, read them in order, starting with the 4 agreements, the 5th agreement, and then The Mastery of Love. These are the only books I have by this author, but I do believe he has a lot more other books. Last but not least, this is upside down. Women Who Run with the Wolves. I rate this a I rate this 10 million billion out of 10. This is such a beautiful book. I actually found out about this because of Book Talk, so thank you, Book Talk, for putting me on. Book Talk says this is the Bible for all women. All women need to read this book, and I heavily agree, especially if you have a mother wound or generations of mother wound. Y'all need to read this book, but every woman should read this book. I love this book so much. If you are going to own it, if you're going to buy it, I do recommend getting the hardcover, the hardcover is a larger version, but this one is like the size of my hand. There is a larger version, and then there's also a hardcover version. I recommend getting the bigger version. I don't know if paperback will be good as hardcover, but this small paperback, it's not the strongest. Like, as you can you see some of the pages are popping out. So I am going to repurchase this because I'm going to read it again and again and again throughout my life. I'm going to repurchase this in the larger hardcover version, but it is just, look at my highlights. It's just so good, y'all. Like, this is a shadow work book. This is a very introspective book. You're gonna face yourself, so be ready for that. And also, you do not have to get through this in one sitting. At the end of the book, it actually says, you know, this is a book that you just can't finish in like one sitting or in one weekend. This is something that you read a chapter or a few pages and then you put it down, and it's just one of those books like that call you over time. For me, this took 3 months to read. Actually, if I really think about it, it's like over a year, because I actually got this. Well, I bought this because of Book Talk, and then when in my writing class we had some projects, so I was like, hey, can I use this book? And I got through 2 chapters and that was it. And then I graduated and all that, and I was like so tired and burnt out. And then I tried to read it again a few months later, but I just couldn't, because this is a very in-depth book. This is not surface level. This is deep. So, and look at it. It's one of those like tiny font kind of books. What I say. And when I tried to read it again, I couldn't. And then a few months ago, I was like, okay, we're gonna read this. And I'm in love with it. If you're into astrology and stuff and you have a 12th house stellium, I have a 12th house stellium. I have 5 planets in the 12th house. This puts into words things that I could not put into words. So if you have like deep knowings and stuff, just knowing things and a strong intuition, and you know, sometimes you feel crazy and stuff, no, you're not. This book will show you, no, you're not. I feel like this book is a very 12th house book. It's just so beautiful. I love all the little stories and fairy tales and in-depth analyses. I want to read this again, but I'm going to go through some of my other books first that I have on my shelf. But I definitely will read this again within this year, because I feel like I missed through some stuff, or there's just some things that I want to revisit again. But this is so good. Did I say that I rate this a 10 million bajillion patrillion out of 10? So good. Wow, I said that this was gonna be a fast review and my timer is saying 18 minutes. So I hope if you're still watching this, you found this helpful. If you are thinking about reading any of these, if you have read any of these, let me know your thoughts, your rating, your review, and I will be back in another few months with another recent reads, because my next read is pretty thick and the ones after that are pretty thick. So I keep yapping. All right, y'all. I don't want to run out of storage, but thanks for watching.